Hey guys, welcome back to Character Design, a Touch Plus premium course. I'm Ian Yates, and in this video we're going to look at brainstorming and the creative process. Let's begin by taking a quick look at what we're going to cover in this video. Firstly, we'll talk about researching your character. Then we're going to think about some of the characters which you love and evaluate why they are effective characters. We'll go over some hints and tips where creativity is concerned, and I'll give you a couple of ideas to get the ideas going. Lastly, we'll talk about audience and how yours can influence the character you're designing. Then we'll finish off by looking at some examples to check out, plus, as usual, I'll leave you with an assignment before the next video. Now, brainstorming's all about starting with nothing and throwing as many ideas as possible into the mix to produce solutions. However you like to carry out brainstorming, it's first a wise idea to research the character you're planning to design. So then, research. Almost any creative project you ever undertake will probably involve doing some research of one kind or another. But what kind of research are we talking about? Well, there's research into the character itself. Perhaps your client has specific ideas about who your character is, what it represents. If it's linked with a brand, then you'll be expected to understand that brand. In our case, we're looking at a student character. At least that's what I've chosen. So it would be a good idea to look at students around you and examine their generalized characteristics. Also, you'll need to research into visual styles. Again, you might be trying to visually tie your character in with a brand or a product, existing artwork even. Perhaps you're developing a character which has already been designed to an extent. Researching into styles of other illustrators and artists is the perfect way to kick this off. Plenty of illustrators have designed student characters. Search for some of them and see how they're presented. Researching your audience is also vital. We'll be talking about this more in a minute, but you need to know who you're talking to if you're to communicate effectively. Of course, in our case, we're talking about your fellow Touch Plus Premium members. So in principle, if this character is going to work for them, it has to work for you too. Now on to brainstorming itself. The best way to brainstorm character illustration is visually. Get into the habit of taking a sketchbook around with you, a moleskin or whatever, nothing too big and cumbersome, just so that you can visually jot down ideas when they come to you. It doesn't matter how random your thoughts might be, get them down quickly. When ideas are in short supply, however, it's great to throw caution to the wind and try something seemingly irrelevant. Next time you're with your friends, try this game. Write down on scraps of paper the names of various animals. Then, on a second set of scraps, write down adjectives, descriptive words, or emotions. Each person in the game has to take an animal and an adjective and then draw a character combining the two. There should be a time limit, obviously, and it's then up to the others to guess what they were trying to draw. The results can be really funny, but on a serious note, doing this will push you out of your safety zone and you can often surprise yourself with the results. Now, this might take a moment, so let's just sit back and listen to some music. Alternatively, though equally useful, why not try making order out of chaos? Begin with a blank piece of paper, or whatever you prefer to draw on, and use something like paint, ink, charcoal, coffee in this case, to make random mess on the paper. Complete scribbly nonsense. Once you step back, you'll find all kinds of shapes, lines and forms which you can manipulate to create something else. Again, we're taking ourselves outside the boundaries within which we're usually comfortable working. You won't always come up with pure genius, but the occasional gem will appear. Now, we mentioned earlier that amongst all the research you can carry out, it's a good idea to research your audience. Take two extreme examples, adults and very small children. Two ends of the spectrum, and you'll instinctively illustrate very different styles to accommodate them. But there are clear and definable reasons for doing this. Small children, for example, respond to clear colours, obvious shapes, easily recognisable forms. If you throw something like this illustration by Arne Geller at them, not only will it give them nightmares, but it will fail to deliver its message. This character by Blanca Gomez is not only more appropriate, it's accessible for children. It's going to engage them and it will remain memorable. Simple shapes, simple colours. Of course, as adults, we're capable of processing greater detail and gleaning emotion from more sophisticated imagery. That's not to say that childish images don't speak to us. I'm as immature as the next man. But an image like this is likely to exclude a younger viewer, which in this case is precisely the idea. This isn't aimed at 4-year-olds. So, whether you're dealing with the young, old, with professionals, sports fans, farmers, soldiers, women, men, designers, music lovers, be careful that your chosen style doesn't alienate a section of your target audience. Now, there are lots of considerations to take into account when brainstorming a character, and we'll talk more about them in future videos. For now, though, I hope you've been encouraged to get your thinking cap on. Time for some further reading. This is a blog which ties in perfectly to our early example of making drawings from randomness. Check out Stephen G. Butcher's Daily Monster. You can probably guess what it is. It's a site which features a new monster character every single day. Each of these monsters is the product of a random ink splat, developed further into an intriguing beast. Stefan's made a whole line of merchandise out of this brainstorming technique. How's that for inspirational? As usual, we'll round off by me setting some homework, an assignment. In the previous video, we looked at potentially working on a student or a teacher character. As I mentioned, I've opted to continue developing the student further, but whatever you chose, I want you to see what kind of chaotic imagery you can come up with using one of the methods we talked about. Throw some random marks down. See if you can manipulate them into something we can work with. Next time on character design, we're going to look at the importance of sketching. My name's Ian Yates, and from all of us here at Tuts Plus, thanks for watching.